buddies. Episode 5 of The Rings of the Lord of the Rings of Power. Let's just get right. Okay, no, actually, so last episode, grandmas were volunteering to fight people that we just, did not know who they are or how they know about them or if they have any sort of relationship with them. They know nothing about these people that they're going to go fight for and protect, as well as how do they know how many orcs are there? Do they know anything? We don't know what they know. They haven't told us. They haven't shown us. So we're going to see if they reveal anything in this episode 5. I believe this is the infamous fight scene with Galadriel fighting 20 Numenorian trainees. And so that'll be fun. But let's start watching it. This will be great. This will be great. Oh, yeah, and the oath. The oath that he's probably going to break. So this episode, we're going back to the Harfoots, because they weren't even in the last episode. Oh, the Harfoots. He's learning English. You're good. You're good. You're not Peril. This reminds me of a Disney movie. They're just wandering. They're just walking. They're just singing. They're just the Harfoots. I'm not a fan of the obvious contact lenses. There's not much to say so far. Master, the plans. He's getting like third-degree burns. If the sun was that strong, then surely they'd be getting like sunburns even in the shade. Or like even cloaked, because, sunlight bounces all over. You know what they say, wear sunscreen when you're going out. But what you don't know is you're supposed to wear sunscreen also while you're inside, because the sun shines through the windows, didn't you know? If the sun's that strong to that where they just burn and get like immediately bubbles of third-degree burns, then they should all be getting like sunburns, and that seems like a pretty strong reaction. He said summon the legions. We'll see how many orcs is legions, because so far we haven't seen that many orcs. We've seen a few digging a trench, which now is apparently completed, and we've seen one attacking a village. Oh, well, I guess the village, I remember the village was full of orcs, but in Lord of the Rings, the movies, we saw like tens of thousands of orcs, armies, and it was just much bigger scale. And here it just seems like it's been maybe 100 that we've seen. The legions of 50 orcs. A legion is 2 orcs. Ah, yes, the copy-paste scene. And Bronwyn here, for an unknown reason, is the leader of many towns across the lands. So they don't like elf guy, right? So maybe they don't want him to be the leader, but surely so this is multiple towns, but there's only like there's like 100 people here. And of course, this is the copy-paste scene where it looks like these two are the same guy, and then this guy, this girl, and this guy, this guy, this girl, and this guy are all the same. They did a good job of like
our enemy vows to
putting
attack.
him in there. I know that I'm not the king you've awaited. Why is she the interim king to 20 people here? Is this supposed to be all of the Southlands? She's talking to these 20 people as if it's all the representation of the Southlands, and she's like, I know I'm not the king, but I am the replacement temporarily. Someone who picks flowers. The way they're talking and trying to represent this is that there's just like legions of orcs, and then like all of the Southlands have gathered at this tower, but that's what they're saying. But then when you look, it's like we've seen 25 orcs and we've seen 25 people. So what we see is like much smaller scale than what they're trying to say. They're just not showing us all the rest of the thousands of people, I guess. Yeah, and it just seems like it'd be better just to run away, but obviously they can't because there's a magic barrier within a mile of where they're at, so they can't run away. I will fight and die to the orcs, yes! More people who are dumb and want to die. Everybody in this show wants to go and die when they could run away and live. this guy has some sense. He's like, stand and fight, you will die. Yes. Yes, listen to him. Right now, anyway. Okay, so never mind. He wants to go and bow to the enemy. I don't think that's better. So convincing. His speech was 3 sentences. I'll say this about our ancestors. They lived. Again, another example of like the people being swayed so easily by like 3-sentence speeches. Their speeches are so short. Like Bronwyn, right? Bronwyn said like 2 sentences, and they were like, yeah, yeah, yeah. And then this guy is like, no, we shall bow down to them. Our ancestors lived. And then they're like, oh, yeah, let's do that instead, yeah. Why is everyone in this show so easily persuaded? I looked it up, and I guess that is how they can load horses onto ships. But it's ridiculous that these ships do not look like they can hold a lot of horses and people. He's like, I thought you were going west. He wants to go on this expedition now. And he's like, not anymore, not until I've done something significant. But what's west? What's west? What? He said they have far more volunteers than they can accommodate. Half the city wants to be on the boats. So they have so many people that want to go and fight? But why can't they accommodate them? They don't have enough ships? Are they not like an ocean faring, and they have like 3 ships only? So Farazan is upset that they're all going to help a warmongering elf and Southlanders. And why do they care so much to stop them from going? The Farazan is so upset that he didn't stop them from going to war, I guess. And these two are like, we must figure out a way to stop them. But why? Why do they care? I don't know what their motivations are. Ah, yes, Sauron. He got his guild crest somehow. We don't know how. He stole another one. They're asking Halbrand where the enemy went next. How does he... Okay, so he's giving them information from how long ago? Maybe it's only been a few weeks since he was attacked or whatever by orcs in the Southlands, and then went to the ocean, got attacked by the worm, and then they got him and over here. So maybe it's only been a few weeks. And so he's telling them where the orcs were headed. So it's a little bit of dated information, but I guess he's explaining to them how many orcs there were and all the details and everything.
That I've staked my name upon it.
She's staking her name on him going at the risk of ruining her reputation, like if he doesn't go. But who cares? Who's caring that he's going or not? Who knows him here? Does anybody care about him here? Everybody recognizes Galadriel, but who recognizes him? Galadriel made the decision for Halbrand to go and reunite his people, and he's going with it. Alright, so they gave him a guild crest in exchange. They told her where Galadriel was going when she was climbing that tower to see the king. Thought that was pretty obvious. He's using her, she's using him. Who's using who? I don't know. Alright, he doesn't want to do it. She just convinced them to send 5 ships and 500 men. I mean, it calls into question if they really know how many orcs there are, but I guess if he was there in the Southlands being attacked, and if he was the king, then I guess that he would know pretty well. So, alright. Maybe they were like, well, okay, with 500 men will probably be enough to handle this small orc attack. I don't know, it seems... I thought the orc attacks were like broader in scale and that were a lot of them. I wish like in Lord of the Rings, the movies, they showed you all the giant armies of thousands and thousands of orcs and stuff. So we knew what the scale was. Here, they're kind of just hinting here and there. They're showing us a few orcs, so we're like, oh, is it just this small amount? Or is it like this small amount here, this small amount there? And then there's like thousands of orcs spread out. Not sure of the scale, but here they're only sending 500 men, and so I'm thinking maybe it's just a small amount of orcs, so it's not that big of a deal then. It like lessens the scope of the significance of the orcs, and like if there's only a few, then what's the big deal here? Can't the Southlanders handle a couple hundred orcs? That thing looks so heavy. Leave them to die so that other people don't die. These guys are weird. They have really weird concepts of like survival. It's very difficult to live off just going out and picking plants and stuff that are edible. I don't know how they get their protein. I guess the snails, right? These Harfoots, I don't know how they've survived so long, because they migrate, and there's all these wolves in the wilderness attacking them, and they leave their own behind, and and when they don't like someone, they want to take their wheels off and leave them. I have no clue how they're still alive. They should be extinct by now. Oh, one of them was hurt. He just hurt one of those wolves. They just wanted to eat the Harfoots for food. Were any wolves harmed in the making of this movie? I know the Harfoots weren't, unfortunately. Well, at least there was some action with the Harfoots finally, instead of just sitting around singing Kumbaya. That seems kind of dangerous. They it looks like real swords, and even if they were blunt, they're metal, and they're waiting like crazy trying to kill each other. That's not how you spar and practice. I did a little bit of I've done some sparring, and when I used to do like kung fu and stuff, and we had like, but they were like made out of foam, you know, like nunchucks or whatever. And even then, if you got hit, it was like, ow. All you have to do is watch some YouTube videos. You know how many YouTube videos there are of like people, like I watch a few, I've watched them for a little while, just kind of for fun. And they're like, this is how you fight in medieval times. This is how you use a sword. And then there's even like fencing and sword fighting. And yeah, they use like wood sticks and foam, and they don't go wild at each other without any protection with real metal swords. They are really trying to kill each other. Look at this! That's not what you're supposed to do. And he's like, yep, this is normal. Yeah, these are real swords. She's like, I'll keep it strong and simple. What does that mean? Strong? Don't you mean short and sweet? They're like, in Middle-earth times, in our world, we say short and sweet, but in the Middle-earth, it's another dimension, another universe. So what they would say something different, right? So strong and simple, not short and sweet. Yeah, that's great. That's great. And that was stupid. She taught the first lesson. Stab and gut. All right, lesson's over. Now let's fight. This is like Sparta in 300. The way that the Spartan kids were raised was like they just threw them out into the wilderness and was like, okay, try to survive against wolves and stuff. And the weak ones died. That's how they do it here. They're like, they just throw them in the pit and they're like, all right, here's some swords. Here's your training. Fight each other to the death. What kind of teaching is that? I mean, obviously, it's just a thing to show how strong Galadriel is and all this stuff, just to make her look good. And like, wow, Galadriel. What is the point of this training exercise? It's not even a training exercise. It's just like a skills test. She taught them. She said like 3 words, stab and twist. That's the lesson. Now here's your test. No protection, real swords. He's literally trying to kill her. And they're all like he was trying to chop her head off. Why? And the guy over here is like, what's his name? Oh, hold on. Not Halbrand. Elendil is like, yes, this makes perfect sense. I don't mind if he actually scored a hit and chopped her head off. I would not have minded this fight as much if they had wooden swords. But even then, like the way he's trying to hit her is like so wild and strong that you could kill someone with just a wooden sword too. Why didn't they consult like actual sword fighters? Sword fighting is not about strength, it's about balance. Actually, it's about strength and balance and skill and all these other things. They really Disneyfied, like this is probably the best way I could explain this show, is they Disneyfied a lot of these things. It's just all show but no actual like realism. They have been, she was like, don't plant roots, keep moving. She's saying like keep they've been moving this whole time. They're like running around. She's really enjoying herself. We know that she loves riding horses, and she loves loves fighting with swords with multiple people. These are stupid, like, things she's trying to teach them. These stupid little quips. Never trust brute strength to fight an orc. Use, whatever. I'm sure there's multiple ways to kill an orc.
Well done.
There's no blood. He didn't score flesh. His lieutenant is like a leadership position, right? So just because you're good enough with a sword to, attack Galadriel, you're now good enough to lead. I don't know. Does that make much sense? If I'm like really good at shooting a gun, am I now admiral of the army? The stupid sound effects are ridiculous. This feels like a Disney movie right here. The sword in the stone. This feels like a live. That's probably what they're gonna do too. Disney is they're gonna create the live action sword in the stone. But that was actually a really good movie. The sound effects. She's like, how does he know how to flip a sword around? Wow, that is just. Isn't he the king of the Southlands? Like, that's what she thinks, right? And even like normal people probably play around with swords and stuff, right? I mean, I've played around with swords when I was younger, like fake swords. And I am not even in medieval times. He tossed a sword up in the air. Wow, I've never seen someone do that before. That is such skill. There must be something that meets the eye here that I'm missing. I don't know why this kid wants to stop the war and the other girl wants to stop the war, and we're supposed to think he's trying to stop the war, but I don't know what their background is or what their motivations are, other than he just wanted to stop the war, and he gave that speech of like 3 sentences with the group and was like, no, we shouldn't fight. But what's up with him? Why does he want to stop the war? Or supposedly, I guess they're going to reveal maybe he doesn't know. See, that was actually a good quote. That wasn't one of these cheesy, it is said the wine of victory is sweetest for those in whose bitter trials it has been fermented in. Instead, he was like, what did he say? Hold on. The trick of mastering the current.
Which way it will turn next.
Is to know which way it will turn next. See, that makes a lot of sense. Finally, they've gotten better at writing the dialogue. These crazy sayings that they say. That one actually was really good. The trick to mastering is to know which way the tide's gonna go. Yeah, it sounds like he's a good tactician here. So he's like scheming here, sort of. He doesn't want to go to war for Galadriel, but he's going to war for Numenor. But even though he was feigning that he didn't want to go to war, but he actually does. Why are they like the music is like kind of this sounds like it's bad, but actually it sounds really good. Like he wants to go fight the orcs to save the Southlands people, so that the king in the Southlands will be in their debt and be like, thanks for helping us, what can we do for you? And then so they're gonna have trade with them, they're gonna be in their debt, so they're probably gonna give them whatever they want as thanks and all this. I mean, that sounds pretty good, and they're fighting the orcs, so we don't like the orcs, right? So what's the problem here? But then why was he faking not wanting to go to war earlier? And why is he upset about this? I still don't know why he doesn't want to go to war. And by war, I mean one little battle with 500 men. So her father, who's white and she's black, said that don't go to Middle Earth because all that awaits is darkness. So is he an actual like premonitionary person? Is this like a fate type of thing? Why did she touch his arm? And why is she so shocked? Oh, why? It's so contrived. Hey, what are you doing to your arm? Oh no, it's doing the same thing to me. Now her arm's immortal. She's got one immortal arm that will never die. Even when she dies, her arm will remain. And then she becomes that hand from the Addams Family. That's where that comes from, is from Nori. And it's like, I was Nori. But it can't speak, so it can never tell people that it came from the Lord of the Rings of Power. Whatever. There's that swirly pattern again on the elves. Also, their costumes are look like dollar store general vibes is what I'm getting. Plastic, polyester. Celebrimbor does not look like an elf. He's like the least elf-looking guy here. He looks like a Santa Claus elf, but he acts like an elf. It's kind of a weird way that Mithril was created. He was touching the tree to preserve the tree, and the Balrog was trying to destroy the tree and then created Mithril. All right, sure. He said Durin was right. Right about what? What did Durin say that he was right about? All they did was they found Mithril. He was right about finding Mithril? I don't know. And why did he not know that he was looking for Mithril? Why didn't he just tell him? What's with all this weird secrecy? He's basically just revealed that he found Mithril. He said Durin was right. And then he said, I swore to not tell you anything. Technically, he's obeying his oath because he hasn't said anything. What? I'm watching his mouth. High King Gilgalad's. He's not saying what the voice is saying.
And so bringing an end to the last.
Look at his mouth. Hold on.
We hoped that by sending her away and so bringing an end to the last vestiges of war.
He's saying watermelon, watermelon, watermelon. It's so obvious he's not saying what is being said. The Mithril is there, the light, and it's fading. We don't know why, but it's like muck, cow muck from the udder of a cow that's covering everything. To be fair, okay, not to be fair. So I was going to say, to be fair, what is he supposed to say here when he's asking, did you find the Mithril, did Durin find the Mithril or not? And he's supposed to keep his oath, so he's not supposed to tell him. What is he supposed to say, though? But he's supposed to be like a really good talker and stuff, right? He should have figured something out to say that like wasn't a lie, but it wasn't telling the truth, you know? High King is like, okay, you found the Mithril. He's like, I cannot tell my secret. He's like, okay, you found the Mithril. I don't know what they're saying here. They're trying to make something meaningful come out of this. I cannot tell my secrets for hope is important and blah, 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 blah. This whole Numenor thing is just like back and forth. I'm going to go. No, I'm not going to go. You're going to go. Okay, no. And it's been 2 episodes of figuring out whether or not they're going to, and they're finally going to go with 500 people. Okay, wait, hold on. The general trivia. The men and women of Numenor use the waters of the sea to great effect. They're so advanced that they have system of canals and waterlocks that crisscross the city like Atlantis. As such, a boat is never far away. A boat is never far away, but they only have 5 boats they can take. So they said that there was so many volunteers they couldn't accommodate them all. And they have so many boats, but they apparently only have 5 available boats. But there's so many people that want to go and fight. But there are sea people that are so advanced that they have waterlocks and boats and all this stuff. So what the heck is going on? Do they have boats? Are they a sea people? Do they not have boats?
Jaw, gut, your choice. One hit. Actually,
that was pretty. That was fun. He was like, "Okay, you get a free hit. 3, 2." This boat cannot hold very many horses. There's like 4 horse stalls here, so they get 100 people. I guess they're supposed to fit on this boat, and there's like 4 horse stalls. So we're only gonna see 4 horses, right, when they land. 4 are from each boat, so there's only gonna be like around 12 horses or something, right? Okay, yeah, that looks like oil. What kind of oil? Probably like cooking. So why are there like 10 giant caskets of cooking oil? Or maybe it's lamp oil. Okay, but yeah, I don't know. That's a lot of lamp oil. And look at all the space taken up by the provisions. There's no way that these are big enough boats for 100 people and horses. There's no way. This is not the 20th century. They don't have like. There's no way. These boats are not full of gunpowder. That was lamp oil. They put the lamp oil in the lamp and then light it, and then it does a slow burn. It's not gonna explode in your hands. That's not what lamp oil does. It burns slowly. What is exploding? The hay? Is the hay exploding hay? If these boats are so explodable, they would be very high risk situations all the time. Like one little nick of a piece of metal and it sparks and the whole thing explodes with like 10,000 barrels of C4. A cask must have gone up. He's like, a cask? Cooking oil doesn't explode. I gotta look this up. I cannot believe. Does cooking oil explode? Oil heat does not and cannot explode. The oil in your tanks is likely to explode as the water in a pool. It's that safe. Lamp oil will not burn without a wick. If a candle is knocked over, the fuel will actually put the flame out. It's the opposite. Pure kerosene does not explode, so the kerosene people put in their lamps might be any range of purity, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I don't know. All these things are saying that there's probably not going to be explosions with lamp oil. So this one exploded, the one in the middle, and then the one to the right, there was like, you saw there was some flaming stuff that flew onto it, so I guess it caught on fire too. They really just, the ships just really, they're not really well designed if they burn down that easy. All you have to do is throw like a torch on one, it'll catch on fire. He said they're fortunate that they didn't lose more ships. they know how flammable the ships are. They're like, man, we're fortunate our entire fleet didn't go up in flames by this one little thing. Wait. He's saying wait until we have more hearts to the cause. So he wants to fight, but he's still pretending for some reason that he doesn't want to fight. And then he said he wants to win more hearts to the cause. But they already said before that like they've gotten so many people to volunteer that they have no provisions to be able to, you know, get them to go. So what is it? They have like the guy said, was it the guy on the right? I think he was like, we have half of the whole land or city that want to go. Isn't that enough? How many people are in that city? I don't know. They want the whole city to go and die?
Voyage until we've had time.
None of this makes any sense. They only have 5 ships, 2 now, 3 now. Everybody wants to go and fight, but they don't have the ships to go and fight, even though they're like a sea people where there's ocean all around them. They should have tons of ships. That's another, yeah, like none of this makes sense. We don't know how many orcs there are. That we've only seen like 20. They're sending like 300 people. So they obviously think that 300 people is going to be enough to fight the orcs that are there. This whole thing doesn't need to be this long to figure out to go. It just feels like there's too many back and forths. We're going, we're not going. I want to go, I don't want to go. You're keeping me from going. You wanting me to go. Delete 75% of what just happened here. Make it simpler, and that's it. And that should have happened in the last episode. Their light is dying for some reason. I must have missed why. And the mithril, they want to bathe in the light of the mithril. They're gonna, I don't know, make lamps out of them and just kind of chill. Like, huh? What do you mean? Unless he breaks it, he just showed him the mithril. He already broke the oath. What are you talking about? You already told basically the king that you found the mithril. Essentially, I mean, you implied since you weren't telling him straight. And here you just showed Celebrimbor the mithril, and he was like, "Yeah, we didn't tell you, sorry." And he's like, "I cannot break my oath." What are you saying? What are you talking about? You swore you made an oath you weren't going to tell anybody. You've shown him the myth, but maybe technically he hasn't told him, but he showed him. None of this makes any sense. That is like the worst broom ever. She said she was sorry for deceiving her or whatever. I don't even remember what she did. And now she's just manipulating him some more. I'm sorry. But anyways, find the light much touch the darkness? Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, sure. Maybe. Not really. Something cannot satisfy thirst by drinking seawater. He was like, this is about vengeance. She's been on this vengeance trip for centuries. You gotta let it go, woman.
Why?
It is vengeance.
Fighting.
Because I cannot stop.
It is about vengeance, is it not? But now she's revealing that it's because she cannot stop. Like literally, she's incapable of stopping. So it's about vengeance. Or she's still just hiding whatever reason. But we already know, unless they hid it from the beginning of this show, they showed us that she's on this vengeance trip. But maybe she's implying it's something else now? She's like, it's everybody else's fault. It's not my fault. All my team members left me back when I was up on the mountain. But it's because you're such a bad leader. Nobody wants you around. They tried to get rid of you at the beginning. They were like, you need to go to Valar or whatever, Valinor, so that we can get rid of you because you're annoying. Nobody likes you. You need to have a therapy session and figure these things out. You're psycho. You have psycho eyes. Are they trying to frame it like she's the victim here because everybody hates her? But that's not what I'm seeing. What I'm seeing is she's a psychotic person and everyone else is normal and has like actual normal feelings and like logic to them. So it is about vengeance. She was like, oh, it's not about vengeance. It's because I can't stop because of vengeance. The way they try to teach weaponry in this show, it's so dumb. It's like they just made things up out of nowhere. Like they have absolutely no knowledge of weapons and stuff. So they were just like, well, we don't need to do any research, but let's see. What is something that Arondir can teach Theo about bows and arrows? Well, it has string, it has arrows, so let's just make something up. Don't be afraid of the string. Yes, that's a good thing to teach. That makes perfect sense. The string is very scary. Oh, he smirked a little bit. He smirked a little bit. That was like the first little smirk. A different face. He's had the same face this whole entire show. Lift your aim, son. Are they pointy? I think they're pointy. Ah, yes. How convenient. Why does it gotta be like 5 feet away? Why couldn't it have been at like another village? This episode is more frustrating than the one before this one. The last one, number 4, was more fun, even though it had some really stupid moments. This one is just like more dumb. Okay, so there was like a bunch of scary music, and there was another one of these swords in the rock or whatever. What are we supposed to make out of that?
There's a key.
A key to enslave their ancestors. Huh. Are they gonna wait for... That looks like quite a bit of orcs. Like, potentially thousands? At least several hundred? And they look like they have 20 people there. They're really gonna fight. That looks like maybe 2,000 orcs. And 20 people at this watchtower are gonna fight them? Are they complete stupid idiots? Are they complete morons?
Days.
And he's saying it's going to be a couple days. He said it's going to be a couple days for them to get there, maybe hours. That's a big difference in time. Well, at least they have at least a couple hours to get out of there instead of dying to 3,000 orcs. That's probably a good idea, don't you think? Why are they so stupid? Why is everybody stupid in this show? She's not a very good leader. Now she's saying, let's give ourselves up. He's a better leader. He's like, no, we shouldn't do that. Well, why don't you take over? Why is he deferring to her? What makes her such a great leader? He's a warrior. And he was like part of a team and he's been around for thousands of years. Why isn't he in charge here? She just wants to stay around and just die. So the tower, they're gonna push the tower over. So basically it's a hazard. It could fall apart at any minute. Even like a really tiny ground or earthquake could topple it over, and and they haven't bothered to like rebuild it or anything. And they're gonna push it over. What? They're implying that their idea is to push it over onto all these orcs. And like that's a great plan. It's a good plan for like 20 orcs. They're like, that's what we need for these 3,000 orcs that are attacking us. We just need like one little clincher. They cannot pick up that rock.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
Yes. He's been deceiving him this whole time. Now he's like, well, actually, I didn't. Even though I've been lying to you this whole time and saying that I came to Khazad-dûm to rekindle our friendship. Now I'm saying I didn't. I've deceived you the whole
I
time.
did not know it.
So now Durin should not trust him at all ever for the rest of his life, right? Because he's been deceiving him this whole time and
Without
lying.
it.
So why would he... If Elrond has been lying to him this whole time, why would Durin trust him now that he's telling him the truth? That they need the mithril or else they'll all die. He could still be lying to get the mithril. So why would he trust him? He's been lying to him the whole time. So now he's going to help him get more mithril, but Elrond just told him this fantastical story that, well, we need it to survive or else we'll die by spring. It could be a trick, another trick. He could be just saying crazy story so that he can get more mithril. Don't believe Elrond, he's lying. I don't get why there's so much deception. It's like completely unnecessary. This guy was like deceiving Elrond, everybody. Celebrimbor was deceiving Elrond. Elrond was deceiving Durin. Why? Yes. You're searching your soul and being like, all right, I'm gonna go. This episode is stupid. What happened to the hobbits? They were like, they just totally forgot about them. They were traveling. Oh yeah. They showed like 2 little scenes where what's her face Nori got blown away. I don't get what the importance is of this girl right here. It just feels like she's just been like sitting around. It feels like she's just an extra. Like she was in a couple scenes. She went on a date. She's kind of just been standing around in a lot of the scenes, doing nothing. And now she's like upset that her boyfriend's leaving, I guess. She has like absolutely zero importance to this story. Wait, so what's his face? Isildur, I guess, stole some armor, I guess? And he's like... Or maybe they let him go now? Look at how big this ship is. There's maybe 30 people on the top of this ship. And then, plus the guy up there. And then there's like a back room with maybe another, let's say, maybe 4 or 5 other people. So maybe 35 people up here. And the top is basically pretty packed. I mean, you can still move around and stuff. And then, like, how many levels are on this ship? There might be, based off of how tall they are and how tall the ship is, there might be another 1 level below them. And then maybe a little space for cargo below that, possibly. And so if it was full of people, there might be able to fit 100 people total. But then what about the horses? Where are the horses? Where are they going? They're going across the whole ocean. How far is it? This is just like his little arc of like not being able to go and then going for the last like 2 episodes. It's just such a stupid little subplot that had zero importance. And whatever happened to the mountains calling him, Isildur. What was that all about? We still don't know what that was all about. It was like this. It was just pushed aside. It happened 2 times again with the overly dramatic music, and it's just Galadriel stepping onto the boat because she's so great. But see, you're trying to make her look all like regal and whatever and glowing and like an angel coming on and all this fancy music, la 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 la. But our experience with her is that she's just really mad all the time, not a very good person, talking down to people all the time. And so like I'm not getting the feeling that she's as great of a person that I think they want me to think she is. Do they even know what they're fighting? Or how many people they're fighting? Orcs? Do they even know what they're doing? The music is way too epic. Like this episode and all the other episodes have been like drawn out and like feels like not much has happened. And it's like there's no way 100 people can fit on these boats. There's barely, I guess there's 1 level below them and that's it. And it's smaller than the top level because the top level is longer. And then there's the boat like goes in, tapers inwards. So there's even less space underneath. There's no way 100 people can fit on those boats, let alone any horses whatsoever. It looked like they had 4 stables in underneath, and then everything else was full of cargo, which makes sense. But so where's the rest of the 100 people in each boat? It looks like there's enough space for the 35 people on the top. But like, where do they sleep? Where do they go and lay down? Do they not? They just chill on the top? I didn't enjoy this episode as much. It was too ridiculous. There was like, it feels like I'm still on the previous episode. Like, they spread out this whole idea of them leaving to go to Middle Earth in 2 episodes, and it was just like back and forth, and like, you're going or you're not going, and then finally they go. This one was not that fun. It was just pretty dumb all the way around. So now I'm not looking forward to the next episode. The last one I was looking forward, because the last one was a little bit more fun. It felt like things happened in the last episode. This one, it felt like nothing really happened. I would just delete this episode and it would probably be better, and they would just be going to Middle Earth instead. But anyways, thanks for watching. And I am finally on, what am I on? So this is 6. I'm finally on this is 5. I'm finally on episode 6 tomorrow, and I believe I'm caught up then. I have a feeling it's going to get much, much worse in the next episode. But anyways, like, share, and subscribe and all that. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.
Give me the meat and give it to me raw. Give me the meat and give it to me raw. Give me the meat and give it to me raw.
I am not gay. I have relationships with women. Oh my. Oh my. Sex with men. Oh my. Oh my. Sex with men.